May the peace of the Lord be with you, my dear friends. In this 29th Sunday in Ordinary Time, Jesus tells us the parable of the persistent widow. This persistent widow succeeded in obtaining justice for herself from a corrupt judge who was reluctant to do her justice. But her persistence moved him to serving her justice, not because he was righteous, but because she was relentless, my dear friends. This parable is not just about prayer, but it is about faith that refuses to quit. So, my dear friends, the parable of the persistent widow teaches us that God honors perseverance in prayer. In fact, Jesus in the Gospel tells us that we ought to pray always and not lose heart. That is, He is telling us to persevere in our prayer. Persistence, my friends, is not nagging God, but showing trust in God that He hears and He will act in His own time. Repeated prayer, my dear friends, is not about changing God's mind, but it's about transforming our hearts. Moreover, my dear friends, persistence stretches our faith, purifies our desires, and aligns us more closely to God's will. My friends, God's delay is not denial. God's silence is not absence. Sometimes He delays in giving us what we will be praying for is to increase our longing or to prepare us for a greater answer. So, my dear friends, true persistence is not demanding, but trusting in the Lord. Persistent prayer is like a child who knows that his Father is so good, even when the answer is not yet or not in this way. And finally, my friends, we must be humble in our persistent prayer, because humility says, "Your will be done," even as we continue to knock, my dear friends. This is the faith that Jesus, when He returns to this world, must find. A faith that refuses to quit. And refuses to quit what? Our love for Jesus. Greetings, my dear friends, from our friary here at Rabat on the island of Gozo in Malta. May our Lord bless you and keep you in His loving and tender embrace all the days of your life. Bye-bye, my dear friends. Take care. God bless you.